Friends, have you ever wondered why chopping onions makes you cry like you're watching a sad movie? Or why your fan blades turn into dust magnets? And how do birds just chill on electric wires without getting zapped? And why the first and last piece of the bread look different from the rest? Well, in today's video, we're diving into mind-blowing everyday science facts that'll make you see the world differently. Buckle up for a fun countdown of surprising truths. So, let's get started. Friends, those of you who cook know that no dish is complete without onions. I think it's impossible to make any curry or rice dish without them. We all know that when onions are cut, most people's eyes start watering. Usually, we assume this is because of their strong smell or bitterness. But do you know what's actually inside onions that causes this? Onions contain a special enzyme that creates a strong burning sensation in our eyes. This enzyme reacts with amino acids to form a compound similar to sulfuric acid. When we cut onions, this enzyme is released into the air and reaches our eyes within seconds. It irritates the nerves in our eyes, causing them to water and sting slightly. That's why even if someone is standing nearby, they often can't avoid the irritation either. Now that summer's here, we all rely on fans to stay cool. But have you ever noticed how fan blades always seem to collect a thick layer of black dust? You'd think the fast spinning would fling it off, but it doesn't. In fact, it just keeps building up. Here's what happens. When the fan is on, it pulls in air and pushes it downward. That air often contains moisture which sticks to the blades. Then, when the fan is off, regular dust settles on it, just like it does on any surface. But when you turn the fan back on, that sticky moisture helps the dust cling even tighter. Over time, this creates a grimy layer that's hard to clean, even at full speed. So, the very thing that helps cool you down is also quietly attracting dust, thanks to a mix of moisture, air movement, and time. Now, let's talk breakfast. In almost every household, bread is a must-have item. But have you ever noticed that the first and last slices in a loaf look a little different? Kind of dry or burnt? Well, when bread is made, the dough isn't sliced right away. It's baked as a single large loaf. The outer layer of the dough becomes brown and crispy during baking, while the inside remains soft and white. When the loaf is finally sliced, the first and last pieces come from the browned outer parts. The crust is not removed, so it stays part of the loaf. Interestingly, 90% of people don't eat these end pieces, even though there's nothing wrong with them. Have you ever seen a big truck on the road with one of its tires lifted off the ground? It looks a little strange, like something's missing. But it's actually on purpose. Those are called adjustable or lift axles. Truck drivers can raise or lower them depending on how much weight they're carrying. When the truck is empty or lightly loaded, that extra tire isn't needed, so it's lifted to reduce wear and save fuel. But when the truck is carrying a heavy load, the driver lowers the tire so it can help support the weight and give better stability and traction. It's a smart way to make trucks more efficient and safer on the road. You've probably seen birds sitting calmly on power lines, and maybe wondered, why don't they get electrocuted? After all, we know those wires carry high voltage electricity that can be deadly. Well, here's the reason. When a bird lands on a single wire, both of its feet are on the same wire, so there's no voltage difference across its body. Electricity needs a path to flow from a high voltage to a lower one. Since the bird isn't touching another wire or the ground, there's nowhere for the electricity to go, so it just keeps moving through the wire. Also, birds have small feet, so it's very unlikely they'll touch two wires at once, which would be dangerous. So as long as they stay on one wire, they're totally safe. You've probably seen manhole covers on roads and sidewalks, but have you ever noticed that they're almost always round? It's not just a random design choice. There's actually a clever reason behind it. Manhole covers are round because a round shape can't fall through its own opening. No matter how you turn it, the cover won't drop in, which makes it much safer for workers. If it were square or rectangular, turning it diagonally could make it fall through the hole. Also, a round cover is easier to roll, which makes it simpler to move around. And since sewer openings are usually round as well, it's just a perfect fit. So next time you step over a manhole, remember, it's not just a cover. It's a smart piece of street design that keeps people safe and makes city maintenance easier. Chips like Lay's or Kurkure are super popular snacks. But have you ever opened a packet and felt a little cheated by how much air is inside? Well, here's the interesting part. That's not just regular air, it's nitrogen gas. Nitrogen is used because it's non-reactive, meaning it doesn't mix with moisture or oxygen. This helps keep the chips fresh and crunchy for a long time. But that's not all. The gas also acts like a cushion, protecting the chips from getting crushed during transport. Imagine shipping millions of bags. Without that puff of gas, you'd mostly end up with crumbs. And let's be honest, the puffed up bag also makes it look fuller and more tempting on store shelves. So, that air actually serves some pretty smart purposes. If you've ever been near an industrial area, you might have noticed big factories with shiny spinning fans on their rooftops. Ever wondered what those are? They're called wind turbine ventilators, and they play a big role in keeping factory conditions manageable. Inside factories, machines generate a lot of heat, which can make the air inside really uncomfortable for workers. These rooftop turbines use wind power to spin, creating suction that pulls the hot air out. This helps cool down the indoor space without using electricity. So, even though they look simple, these spinning fans are super effective at improving air circulation and keeping working conditions safer and more comfortable. Pretty cool, right? So friends, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video.